Hey guys, Danny, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Xiaomi Note 10s that came out in April of this year. So this is going to be a summarized review. I did like the entire review and I go really in depth about the camera, the software, how this thing performs, all that stuff. It's about a 17-minute video, I think. It'll be right. You can go check out my channel, or it'll be in the eye, which will probably be in this corner, on that corner. It's gonna be the summarized review of about 9 minutes. But my goal for those people that, for those of you who are at work or you just can't watch, you don't have enough time to watch the full review. So without further ado, let's get into the review. Okay, so first of all, let's go around the design. It looks clean, right? It looks pretty cool. You have steam. You have a metal frame going all around the edges. Around the frame, you have a plastic back. And when you think about plastic, you think, oh, they did a bad job. No, they did a really good job. It's like this kind of like a matte plastic, something like that. Matte white, I guess. And it does a very good job at hiding fingerprints. You cannot really see fingerprints on this device. So it does a very good job of hiding those fingerprints. Then again, it does feel pretty premium, but still doesn't really do that good. On top, you have an iron blaster, which is for controlling your TV, which you can do inside of the settings, which Xiaomi actually does have. It's called Mirror Remote, very Xiaomi-ish name. You have a speaker on top. You have your SIM card, which doubles as expandable storage. So if you run out of storage for whatever reason, you have expandable storage up to like a terabyte, I think. So that is really good for those people who always shoot a lot of photos. So that's really good. You have your Google Discovery page on the right, which is really good. And then going around, you have a headphone jack. That's right, a headphone jack, a feature you don't really see much these days, and only special phones have a headphone jack. You have a microphone, a USB 2.0 speeds for data transfer speeds, and you also have a speaker. And the speakers are really good. You also have a 1-inch front-facing speaker, which is awesome. You can't easily really about there. You can definitely tell they're high quality. Let me just put you guys some playback here. You can definitely tell these things are high quality because you can't easily block them. So that's really good. And they double assist your repair. Here, let me tell you some jazz. If I block one, I'm blocking the two at the same time. The stereo sound is really good, as you guys can probably hear. That hopefully my microphone was working. Also, the power button does as a Touch ID sensor, which is really good. Also, you have Face ID. My grandma uses Face ID because her hands are really weak. She has like I forgot what the disease is called, but her hands are just really bad. So she just uses Face Unlock, which is way better for her. And since you have also this really big chin, which I do not really like. You see this chin right here, and the screen literally curves way too much, so you lose part of the screen. The bezels on top are good. They're pretty tiny. The phone is a 6.4-inch display, which is pretty massive, and it's really good for watching YouTube videos and content and gaming. The processor is a MediaTek, I guess how you say it, Helio G95. In other words, it's equal to a Snapdragon. It's a little bit better than a Snapdragon 25G. Not 765G, 725G. So a little bit big of a difference right there on the performance, but you have 6 gigs of RAM on this model. On the specific model, you can go all the way up to 8. You have a 5,000 mAh battery, which on paper sounds really good, but it's okay. We'll get to a little bit later. And then you have your screen, which is a 1080p AMOLED display, OLED display, 1080p, 60 Hz, 409 pixels per inch, which is awesome. And this display is the real deal. It is really sharp. It is really good. You can definitely see this outdoors. 1100 nits peak brightness, which outdoors is very viewable. I tried it, trust me. I put it through its paces. This thing has come out on top, definitely. The screen is really good. It's really sharp. As someone who has you just have a tiny selfie hole punch cutout, which is really good. I kind of would prefer the teardrop notch, because I mean that looks kind of better. Because you still have a little bit of the screen that is still kind of in between this hole. But I mean, yeah, whatever. It's not that bad. The battery here, it is okay. This is definitely a 1D phone. You can kill it if you try with lots of gaming. I've seen some reviews of people saying this thing drops frames a ton. But if you're doing just like Subway Surfers, casual games, Minecraft that don't demand physically graphic demanding games, it'll be fine. Multitasking here is really good. Thanks to Xiaomi software, it is really good. And this software, I really like it. I really like the settings. It really feels lots of like an Apple-like this settings, which I really do love. You have your Mi account, you have your Bluetooth 5.0, you have display, and it's 60 Hz, not 120. You have a dark mode right here, which looks really dope. I'm just gonna turn on light mode. It looks really good. You have the whole deal here. Now, what about the camera? Well, you have four cameras here. You have a 64 megapixel sensor, a 8 megapixel ultra wide, which is right here, a 2 megapixel depth sensor, and a 2 megapixel macro camera. Let me just explain. So for those of you who don't know, depth sensors are in theory to improve portrait shots, which this one doesn't really do anything of. And also macros are supposed to get super close up. Macro camera, you might have heard macro lens on the Canons and Sony cameras, but on this thing it's just pure trash. Open up the thing, you have your AI HDR. The photos this thing is shooting out. This thing actually can shoot out 12 megapixels photos by default. It's not 64. You have to enable that, and it takes more time to shoot a photo. Open up the camera up. It's kind of slow because of the Helio G95, but the photos you take are acceptable. They're really good. The ultra wide is noticeably softer, like way softer. There's an ultra wide shot compared side by side to the same exact shot to a regular shot. So you have that. There's no telephoto. You have a 2x button, a digital zoom, and you can go all the way up to 10x. At that point, it's really unusable. It's like just a smudge of pixels, which I show on the screen. But at that point, might as well you just zoom in with your feet and just be okay with that. But it's not that good. Portrait mode is okay. It's really good actually. I really like it. There's really no fringing around the edges. It's really good. It looks also really nice too. I really like this field, shallow depth of field. And since the plane is so shallow, the plane of focus, you can guarantee that every time you take a photo of a close up, it will definitely blur out the background. This photo that I just took was not with portrait mode. This is just automatically blurring out the background in focus. So that is really good. For video, this thing has 4K 60, 4K 30, my bad, FPS with macro capabilities for video, in case you want it. And the video is okay. Let me just take a sample for you guys. So this is the video mode for the camera right here. It looks okay, passable. Not the greatest, not the best. You can go up to 6x zoom, which at that point it looks good. It looks like a little smudge, but you can go back all the way to 1x. And yeah, so it looks really passable. It looks good. This chair looks really good too. So this using the microphone specifically for this phone, which I guess sound really good. As you saw there, it did a really good job. That's 4K video, decent job. Not the best, not the greatest, but it works. So it is really good. I guess not the greatest, but it does okay. For the pro mode, you have your ISO, all that stuff. You have your ISO, auto, all that stuff there. You have your lens, you have your EV. You have all that stuff right there. So it does do a really good job with 64 megapixels. You have a pro mode, which for some reason I don't know what happened here, but I think there you go. Well, I got it to work now, and 64 megapixels is okay. The camera isn't really that 64 megapixel shot. And it's not really that good. But hey, it works at least. And you have to enable it, and you have slow motion, which does okay. It gets noticeably softer though, and you have 96 frames per second, which at that point it's just unusable. But it works at least. A selfie camera is definitely garbage. It underexposes. It is really bad. It's either hit or miss. You have to really expose it up to make it look like an actual photo. So the photo I just showed you guys was exposed, and then just imagine how to do unexposed. So just keep it. The cameras aren't the best thing. Are okay. They're not really that good, but it does the job. Well, with performance, as I said before, open up your apps. It's smooth. It's good. It's 60 hertz. Not that bad. Xiaomi software. I said a lot. I love this. Really good. It's it's MIUI 12. You have all your cool stuff. You have your control center. You have really cool stuff. It does work really well. So, yeah, this phone is really good. It costs $300 for the upgrade, $160 for the baseline, which is 6 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. I think you could get away with 64 gigs you have expandable storage, of course. But yeah, a really good phone. Depending where you're at, this is a really good phone. If you're in the U.S., think again, make it a Samsung or an Apple or other brands. But if you're outside the U.S., definitely get this. Xiaomi just got removed from the blacklist of the United States for phones that are compatible with carriers. So yeah, it's a really good phone. You should definitely get this. It's great budget for the budget that you have. So depending how much your budget is, definitely get this. You have $500 when you spend on a better upgraded model of a Xiaomi phone, whatever. Also, it comes with a clear case in the box and 33-watt fast charging with USB-C. That's about it. Thanks for watching this really short summarized review of the iPhone, well, not the iPhone, of the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. I'm not the Mi 11 Ultra, the Note 10s. Sorry about that. Well, that's about it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.